āgaḥ-kṛt, niraṅkuśaḥ, āhartā, asmi, bhujam, sākṣād, amartyasya, sa-aṅgadam, anāgaḥsv bhūteṣu, anāgaḥsv bhūteṣu, āgas-kṛn niraṅkuśaḥ, āgas-kṛn niraṅkuśaḥ, āhartāsmi bhujam sākṣād, āhartāsmi bhujam sākṣād, amartyasyāpi sāṅgadam, amartyasyāpi sāṅgadam, anāgaḥsv bhūteṣu, āgas-kṛn niraṅkuśaḥ, āhartāsmi bhujam sākṣād, amartyasyāpi sāṅgadam, anāgaḥsv bhūteṣu, āgas-kṛn niraṅkuśaḥ, āhartāsmi bhujam sākṣād, amartyasyāpi sāṅgadam.
anāgaḥsu to the offenseless. Bhūteṣu, living beings. Yaha, the person. Āgaḥ-kṛt, commits offense. niraṅkuśaḥ, upstart. āhartāsmi. I shall bring forth bhujam, arms, sākṣād, directly, amartyasyāpi, even one who is a demigod, sa-aṅgadam, with decorations and armor. Translation and purport by His Divine Excellency Bhagavatam Translation. An upstart living being who commits offenses by torturing those who are offenseless shall be directly uprooted by me, even though he be a denizen of heaven with armor and decorations. Purport. The denizens of the heavenly kingdom are called amara, or deathless, due to their possessing a long span of life, far greater than that of the human beings. For a human being who has only a maximum 100-year duration of life, a span of life spreading over millions of years, is certainly considered to be deathless. For example, from the Bhagavad-gītā we learn that on the Brahmaloka planet, the duration of one day is calculated to be 4,300,000 by 100 solar years. Similarly, in other heavenly planets, one day is calculated to be 6 months of this planet, and the inhabitants get a life of 10 million of their years. Therefore, in all higher planets, since the span of life is far greater than that of a human being, the denizens are called deathless by imagination, although actually no one within the material universe is deathless. Maharaj Parikshit challenges even such denizens of heaven if they torture the offenseless. This means that the state executive head must be as strong as Maharaj Parikshit, so that he may be determined to punish the strongest offenders. It should be the principle of the state executive head that the offender of the cause of God is always punished. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So Krishna consciousness is a wholesome explanation of life, and there's wholesome advice how to live in this world, how to be Krishna conscious. So in this part of the Bhagavatam, we hear how the state is supposed to be governed, who is an ideal king, who is an ideal leader, state leader. So Parikshit Maharaj shows that he is an ideal kshatriya. We know from the Bhagavad-gītā, Krishna enumerates the qualities of a kshatriya: shaurya, teja, dhriti, daksha, yudhya, chapya, palayana, dana, ishvara bhavascha, kshatram, karma svabhavajam. Parikshit Maharaj here shows almost all of them. He's heroic, he displays showdown. He sees the unjust dealings and immediately wants to know who did it, how punish the offender. And he shows strength also. That's connected. Teja. As Prabhupada mentions here, the last portion of the Purport, the state executive head must be as strong as Maharaj Parikshit. Dhriti, determined, is determined to find out who is the culprit. It seems that Dharma, the Guru, the personification of Dharma, he is hesitant to say who is the culprit. He has good reasons for that. Very philosophical reasons which we will a little bit after these verses. But this doesn't stop Parikshit from his investigation. It's his part. It's his duty. And he is an expert, Daksha. Prabhupada says this is resourcefulness. He has knowledge, he knows what to do, he's expert. He will do it. Yudhe Chakya Palayanam. He's not afraid of a battle. It's not just words, I will kill you, I will punish you. And then when there's a time of action, then actually it's very difficult. Maybe better to stay alive, later on we'll do something. Prabhupada would tell a story that a king was in a battle, he lost, and he fled from a battle because he was losing. He was thinking better to stay alive, right? Why to it's already lost case, so I'll better stay alive. He came home to his castle, and the queen came out and saw just the king. Who are you? Because he came alone. Alone means he didn't win, right? He would come with his army. No, he came alone, and it's obvious that he lost. But the only way how a real Kshatriya loses is that he dies. He never surrenders. So she said, who are you? I don't know you. You some stranger, I'm not letting you inside the castle. The king understood, so he went back. And he fought till he died, actually. So the king and the queen, they're both trained. If the queen was kind of of the quality we are today, say, okay, at least I have you, but we'll flee somewhere. No, they're all principled. All principled. These are the stories we hear about, and not so many from nowadays, not modern stories. Dana, Kshatriya is generous. He's not a miser. He rewards those who deserve to be awarded. And that's how he also, he encourages his praja to follow him. You are rewarded if you follow Dharma, and and you're punished if you do not. Kishora, and he's a leader. It's a good thing for a kshatriya to have Kishora Bhava. You can notice whenever there's some group of people, somebody has to come up and lead. Otherwise it's just a confusion. Where do we go? What do we do? I don't know, somebody said something, somebody said something else. Somebody has to come up. Hopefully somebody who's qualified and really is intelligent and does this as a service for all the members of the group. And he says, no, we're doing this, we're doing that. And actually, most of the people are happy to follow. Finally somebody I can follow. Most of the people are not leaders, followers. They're followers. But what we need is a good leader. That's missing. So in this, democracy came as an answer to the unqualified leaders, right? If you have a qualified king, and then that qualified king has a qualified son, why should we change anything? There's no need for elections. No need at all. Let them rule. They rule justly, and it's fine. They do their leadership duty, and we will follow as much as we have to, and we'll do our own sa-aṅgadam. So there's no competition. Nowadays we see competition. Who's going to be the leader? Some or other get up there and exploit the resources. That's the whole thing actually. Everybody knows. If you have, for instance, a poor state, who wants to be a leader of such a state? Nobody. Who wants to benefit the people? But if a state has some resources, nice budget, go up there, try to, divide it in such a way that you have something from it, and your friends and your relatives. That's the story of. This is a modern story. And that's why we are reading can read these stories as nice memory, nice history, but actually the way Prabhupada writes the purports is, this is how a state executive must be. It's not a past story. The story, Parikshit Maharaj ki jai ho. But yes, we worship him, we respect him as a pure devotee and also as an exemplary kshatriya, king. But this is an example for the leaders to come. Because if Krishna consciousness will expand really widely, it needs also support from the state, from the top. All the religions who are widely spread, they at least at one point or still they have the support from the head of the government. You can imagine. Islam is in most countries is a state religion. And in some states the government and the religious leaders are one and the same. Of course, this is just the principle is such that how we are now. We know how sinful is killing of cows, how sinful is abortion, but it seems so difficult to implement this on a state level, on a national level. Although India is the land of dharma, and actually people do know that cow killing is sinful, but it seems to be difficult. But if that is implemented, that will be really good, because we know the laws of karma. The laws of karma are those who are punishing the space where sin is going on in an organized way. So, I guess on our movement is to preach Krishna consciousness, to spread the holy name, and live by the principles of Krishna consciousness. And the more people influenced by that, the more in the head of states can be influenced, and will understand what is the benefit of this. The government is actually, the ultimate purpose of the government is to facilitate the spiritual advancement of its population. This is, nobody speaks about this anymore. They speak about the welfare of a population, but that is measured in terms of economic gain. We don't have poor people anymore. People are richer, and therefore they're happy. Actually, in the pages of the Bhagavatam, a little before, we also hear that how dharma, if a state, the population, people follow dharma, how that will have also the effect of to be economically prosperous. That is a side effect. It cannot fail. But if a state goes after economic development without following dharma, that will have a backlash. Definitely. It cannot be successful. It can be successful for some time, for some people, but basically it's doomed to fail. Yeah. And that's what is going on. Material, Prabhupada spoke very simply about it. These are material solutions to material problems. And material solutions bring more problems. So it means the problems of this world have to be resolved by spiritual understanding. Otherwise, it's impossible. Therefore, kshatriyas have to be educated in Shastra, and Parikshit, the Pandavas, and they were all Pandits as far as Shastric knowledge is concerned. They knew more than enough to justly execute dharma in the state. So, Parikshit Maharaj started speaking in this chapter, verse 5, and he addressed Kali first, the 2 verses, and then from 7th verse onwards, addressed Kali how he addressed him. He abused him. He was slandering him. He was nonsense warrior. He didn't know exactly, but he really understood from the appearance and from his appearance how he looked like and what he was doing, that this is some trickery is going on. This is a fraudster. he understood that, and then he addressed the bull, and also Mother Earth slightly. So, and now in this section, Parikshit Maharaj is adamant. Who did it? Tell me, who did it? So, this is from the verse 12 or 13, you can say. Agyahi, just let me know. Vishwanath Chakravarti kind of retells the story poetically. He says that as soon as you tell me who did it, I will kill him. There's no, there's one saying, justice delayed is justice denied. So immediate justice. And then Vishwanath Chakravarti sees in his mystic meditation that the bull objects, no, I don't want to say. That's obvious from his reply later on. He didn't want to really point out. And then Parikshit gives an argument why he should say. It's not about the bull and whether he wants to say or not, but it's about us, the Pandavas. You're spoiling our fame. If I don't know who did that, I will not be able to punish that person, and our fame as righteous kings will be spoiled. And what's worse for a Kshatriya than that its good name is spoiled? So do me a favor, please tell me. I have to do this, otherwise my fame is spoiled. Krishna uses this also in the Bhagavad-gītā when he is preaching to Arjuna that he should fight. He should fight. It's not the most spiritual reason, but it is. Arjuna, after all, is a Kshatriya, and he lives by the rules for Kshatriya, so is influenced by that. So, what does Krishna says? Tata sva-dharmam kirtim shakitva papam avasisi. So, you want to give up your swadharma, your kshatriya dharma, and you will also lose your fame, kirti, and you will get sin, you will occur sin. So what's the use of your being a pacifistic person? Another place it says, Tasmat Vamutishta, Yashola Vasva. Come up and become famous. Yashola Vasva. Doesn't matter if you win or lose, you will be famous. That's if you win, definitely famous. If you lose, you say, "Oh, he fought so valiantly. He died for Dharma." Again, there are some kings who lost, but they're famous. And their fame just lives on. So yes, Kshatriya, king, is not just anyone. He has to have a good reputation. If his reputation is just, sometimes, cannot be just some whimsical person. This is a man of, this is a weighty person. He lives by the principles, and therefore he's famous for that. Good name, kirti. And then verse 14, Sridhara Swami says in his commentary that the bull, he objects. Why should I be? what is the good if I tell you who is the culprit? What good will come from this? And then Parikshit tells this verse itself is the explanation. What is the good? Whoever causes offenseless living beings to suffer must fear me everywhere in the world. By curbing dishonest miscreants, one automatically benefits the offenseless. So it's not just your personal thing, that if somebody offends you or does something wrong, then I may tolerate, but if the culprit will be curbed, will be punished, then the good people, other good people will be benefited, because the culprit will not be able to harm others also. So that is this argument. And today's verse 15, the objections, perceived objection by the commentators, by the bull is, but what if somebody is stronger than you are? How you will punish the culprit? And that's why Arjuna says, no, there's nobody stronger than I am. Even if I have to punish the amara, the demigod, I will do it. I'm strong. I'm strong enough. And he actually was. Therefore, he can say, as if he is bragging, but he's just assuring the bull, yes, I will do it, don't worry, I have sufficient strength. Again, we come to the qualities of the kshatriya. It has to be strong also. Principle, that's fine, but without any power to really execute that, it's not good enough. Chanakya Pandit says, there's one shloka about this. Yasmin rushte bhayam nasti tushti naiva anāgaḥsv nigraho nugraho nasti sarushta kim karishyati. If one is angry, but that doesn't, nobody becomes afraid if a certain person becomes angry. And if that person becomes pleased with someone, but the other person is not benefited in any way, cannot offer any benedictions, cannot offer some present, some wealth, which in summary means that the person cannot punish. Nigraha is not there, and anugraha is not there. Not able to do anugraha. Just always just wishing. Oh, I wish to give you this, and I wish to punish this one, but you cannot do anything. So, sarushta kim karishyati. Such a person what will do? So, so the anger and it has to have some consequence. Otherwise, better not show anger. You cannot do anything. Verse 16, the verse which we will read tomorrow, the bull says, according to the commentators, what is the use of punishing one and showing favor to another? And the verse itself is explaining this, that the supreme duty of the ruling king is to give all protection to law-abiding persons and to chastise those who stray from the ordinances of the scriptures in ordinary times when there is no emergency. So it's for everyone. If somebody is at fault, he will be punished. It's not just about a particular person. Parikshit Maharaj, now the personality of Kali is there, and he is the culprit, and he will be punished by, or at least restricted by Maharaj Parikshit. But the same way for anyone who does something wrong. It's not just this one. It's impartial. Kshatriyas live by the principles, and they're the same for everyone. So we are here speaking about how Kshatriyas protect innocent people. Theoretically speaking, or not theoretically, but philosophically speaking, everybody gets what they deserve, right? That's the law of karma. So Krishna speaks about that. Purport, whatever happiness, distress we are getting, Purusha, the living entity, is hetu, is the cause. And that's, it's a relief in one sense, because that means we can increase our happiness if we follow the rules of Dharma. And we can change our destiny by following Shastra, the advices of Sadhu Guru Shastra. So from this perspective, nobody is really innocent, without any fault. So in the words of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Karma Bala. Everybody gets what they deserve. Specifically, he spoke about Chota Haridas, and he finished his life because we know the story. But that is a general principle. Everybody is, we all are here because we did something in the past. So I'm saying from philosophical point of view, okay, so whatever happens is okay because it must happen and it's allowed by the Paramatma, who is a permitter, and so nothing is wrong. But there's something wrong with this, right? If this is a state policy, everything's fine. We have to understand that this understanding, we have to understand for ourselves. If I understand that everything what happens is just fine because it's my own fault, my previous karma, and I'm tolerating that, will help me in my Krishna consciousness. But if I am now with the same understanding, I come and punch your nose and says it's your karma, there's something wrong with this. And then you will also punch my nose and say it's your karma. So where does this end? It doesn't. It's a complete disorder. In society, great confusion will come about. It's crazy. It's a crazy proposition. Although it's true, but it's not applicable. Kshatriyas, they cannot be philosophical in that sense that it's fine, why should I go anyway? You're getting your karma. No. Kshatriyas in this life, now, if somebody kills another one, now the philosophical understanding is somewhere in the background. Yeah, he must have deserved it. But no, the killer has to be punished. Otherwise, the same Kshatriya who's philosophical and will not do anything about it actually will encourage others to also kill. Right? Because there's no order. We're just a bunch of crazy philosophers. who are no good in any practical dealings. So, therefore, Kshatriya has to punish. The state has to punish, has to be strong, otherwise chaos comes. I was in the law school, I studied long back, the criminal law. I was taught that the studies show that the severity of a punishment doesn't correlate with the rate of crime. Means that if there's a more, if in a state there's severe punishment, that doesn't bring down the rate of criminal activities. Therefore, the punishments should be very severe, because we have to, what we are doing now, we have to reform the criminals. So they come to a nice place, they don't go to prisons anymore, they reform into institutions, and we are nice with them and trying to, to educate them. They were mostly uneducated, so therefore they give it times. This doesn't work. This maybe sounds nice, but it's a false philosophy. It actually hasn't. If a state is strong and it punishes the culprits, this has an immense effect. We know there are states in Asia which very strongly punish those who have anything to do with drugs. And it does bring down the rate of drug offenses. Unless, of course, there's corruption and we can somehow get by. But Kshatriya has to be strong, otherwise just chaos ensues in a state, in a country. And nothing good comes out of it. Again, Prabhupada's story this applies to parents also. Like, there was parents died of a certain boy, and he was raised by his auntie and uncle. And they were very liberal with the boy who did mischief, but was never punished because they liked him. Out of affection, they didn't punish him at all. So when this boy became an adult, he became a criminal, big criminal. So big criminal that he was to be hanged. And then they asked this man to have a last wish, and he said, "Okay, bring my auntie to say something to her." And she came really close, and he bit her ear. So the auntie couldn't understand why. Tell me something nice, I love you, you love me, something. But no, he said, because you spoiled me, you never punished me. Now I became a rogue like this and I have to die. That's a lesson for parents also, who love their children so much. But sometimes the love has to be shown by strong parenthood, so that the children can be law-abiding and kind and good-natured grown-ups, not spoiled brats who become some kind of sāṅgadam. That's what is by misfortunately that's what's going on, and it's affecting the quality of life in general, because such people are just not contributing anything to the society. They're just in their own world. So yes, so we need kshatriyas like Parikshit Maharaj, we need leadership like that. Not just strong, but just, fair, principled. The punishment is due, and a war, and that's due also. So that's what is that's needed, and hopefully with the expansion of Krishna consciousness movement, such kshatriyas will also come and will help the Krishna consciousness movement and people that specifically, and also the people at large, because the Krishna consciousness movement doesn't have the agenda just for it's service, bhavan tu. Everybody should be happy. And the more the principles of Krishna consciousness can be applied in the world, the more people will be happy and less miserable, less unhappy. Because the level of misery in this world is just appalling. We can just we don't open the news anymore, we open the internet news site, and it's just horrible. It's horrible. So we don't find leaders like Parikshit Maharaj, unfortunately, yet. Hopefully they're making, so that the Krishna consciousness can fully flourish, and as is predicted that the golden age will emerge within Yoga. It's about to start, so there are good signs. Around, let's see how this will come about. Okay, thank you very much. Are there any questions or comments?
I have a couple of points. The golden age, hasn't it already begun?
It's about now, yeah.
Didn't it begin when Lord Chaitanya manifested? Yeah. Just gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
There was a meeting that Srila Prabhupada had with I think it was the chief of police in Chicago. And you were saying how education isn't just going to be nice for guys. But then he was saying, I can solve your problems with crime by Krishna consciousness. That does it.
Yeah, you can have many guns, many different ways to solve it. The strong punishment is also one.
One thing about the children, our movement, the history was once, the Guru was spare the rod and spoil the child. And said it was a lot of punishments. And it didn't seem to work so well. There was another, like one of the most kind of the Mahavakyam of Prabhupada's quotes on Gurukul was, these are not ordinary children, we should love them. And so that kind of move, it seems like it's become more prominent now with the school systems rather than spoil the rod or spoil the child, or spare the rod and spoil the child. So, and that's what also, has come out with this Grahastha Vision team. This is a group of devotees, because there was such a failure in the Grahastha ashram, particularly in the West, and I think it's kind of started to creep into India as well, how to make it work. And along with that came, how to raise children, so that they actually loved Krishna consciousness. There's too much emotional trauma from punishment. Okay, I've said enough.
Okay, just on this point. So I'm not for capital punishment, right? For using this and that.
what I had in mind is what I see in India. The good families, how they bring up their children. It's sweet, very sweet, they love their children. But when they do something wrong, they're also very firm. They don't have to use a stick or anything. It's just, it's known that now they're out of the grace of their parents. Just for that little thing or whatever it is. So just for the educational purpose. And you see the children really grow up nicely. They're very nice to others, and they have good qualities which really endear others to them. So I'm taking this as a model. Lots of love, but also strict whenever it's needed. Not just one thing or another thing. You have to have a mix. And I don't know. From my side, I've seen best examples in India, in good families, still going on. You have such nice children. You cannot believe. In the West, we have problems. More problems. Yeah. And I would say the problems in the Gurukul is we were doing something, we had no clue what to do, no experience, so it was kind of unfortunate. And this shouldn't really stop us from having the Gurukuls. So we should learn from the mistakes, but definitely the Gurukul system is the best for children. Of course, again, children have to be qualified to enter the Gurukul. Not everybody's for Gurukul. It's fine, not everything is for everyone. But for those who have with some qualities, they can go there, and then they'll be easier for them also to follow. They'll not behave like bad kids, so there won't be much disciplinary issues. That's what we are aiming for. Now that we have a group where everyone is behaving, this is not what is really. No, there's no point. There's no point in it. Qualified parents, qualified children, and good the generations to come will be very good, educated, and very Krishna conscious. And the golden age will strengthen. Because what we need is really to show good people, good examples. Not just, I'm chanting Hare Krishna, but I have no good quality at all. People have to see kindness, wisdom, so many things. Then people are interested and really convinced that this Krishna consciousness movement can do something good for the society at large. Hare Krishna. So we should go on.